everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video review, and this will be a fun breakdown looking at who were the hottest and most attractive women within 2025. And when we say attractive, we're not just looking at it in terms of a woman's look or physique, but also in terms of profile and which women overall enjoyed the biggest success and ascension in many ways within the year. So we will start off this list then with Sophie Levy. The 36-year-old British actress has come to prominence mostly within the British soap drama EastEnders, playing the character of Pira Nandra Hart, and she was first introduced in a smaller initial role as the ex-girlfriend of Ravi Gulati. The character has since then become far more integral into the family of the Panesars, as we've seen her struggle to stay by Ravi despite his criminal activities, as well as trying to maintain a relationship with her daughter. With stunning piercing looks and a slimline figure, Sophie has endeared to viewers as well as being attractive. She also plays the character both feisty and flirtatious, and this at the same time makes her ever more likeable. And with Molly Rainford, who played Anna Knight, now departing the show, Sophie now remains the most attractive and hottest actress within the programme, and without question she has grown ever popular as a character also. We then go on to the next entry on this list, and that is Sol Rodriguez. Based from Argentina, she really caught all of our eyes within the second season of Peacemaker, in the role as lead agent of the Argos crime force Sacha Bordeaux. And this is where she was working alongside Rick Flag Sr. to track down the activities of Chris, also known as Peacemaker. Now, in my opinion, I wasn't as impressed with the series, but Sol was definitely amongst the highlights, with her great looks and very much the strong Latina sex siren personality, and she played the role adequately enough and showed a strong confidence, especially behind the scenes, alongside the equally sexy Jennifer Holland, who played Agent Harcourt. And this certainly caught a lot of traction, as many of the photos on social media, and Sol looked absolutely great in the show, and it will be interesting to see where she goes or what projects she does in the future within 2026 and beyond. Hopefully she can go on to be involved in things that are far better and far bigger than the Peacemaker show itself. So next up we will talk about Sydney Sweeney, last year's #1 women in terms of 2024, and certainly if you are an online fan of movies or entertainment in general, we all pretty much know who Sydney Sweeney is at this point. She has constantly caught attention and trended for obvious reasons, and yes, in 2025 she still trended a lot, looking as stunning as ever, especially amongst the various awards ceremonies and red carpet premieres, most notably her walk-in entrance during this year's Emmy Awards. Very eye-catching indeed. But overall in 2025 it did raise a dilemma, facing her in the fact that her media presence hasn't translated into movie success. In this year, Sydney had overall 4 films, from the likes of Echo Valley, the boxing biopic Christie, Housemaid and also Eden. And none of them were really much of a success. Now, whilst Housemaid is currently doing decent business in the December box office, it's not really a major success. Nothing like we saw with Anything But You that came late 2023. And while Sydney has gained praise for some of her performances, and I do overall think that she's a competent actress, her clear desire to go for more character-driven art house indie projects clearly clashes with her more brand image as the modern day sex symbol or bombshell for the current generation. Now, whilst she caused controversy in inverted commas for the jeans ad for American Eagle, the outrage itself, which was absolutely ridiculous, it still doesn't make her more the substantial, prolific actress in the same vein as what we would say from the likes of Scarlett Johansson or Margot Robbie. And Sydney Sweeney clearly wants to ascend to that type of level. Now, going into 2026, I think she needs to choose more commercially viable projects that have far more a synergy with her own image. And this will look to draw audiences more to her movies. Probably best to stick more to romantic comedies or action films or spy thrillers, or indeed adult erotic thrillers. These sort of films would identify audiences much more with her own screen persona, and I think would garner her greater success. But despite all of that, Sydney Sweeney is still one of the most attractive women currently around in these modern times, and whether she will go on to prepare herself into much more of a substantial movie actress with clout, we will wait and see. Now, next up on the list is Hailee Steinfeld. who has been well established now ever since she appeared in a Bumblebee movie in the late 2000s, more primarily through her participation in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye series, but 2025 saw her break back into more adult contemporary territory with Ryan Coogler's R-rated horror Sinners, one of the breakout original box office successes of the year. And whilst I personally felt that the movie was one of the most overrated movies of the year, Hailee Steinfeld was a clear standout as one of the main female characters that eventually gets turned into a vampire. And it was all within that movie's promotion that Hailee really stood out for me, looking absolutely amazing in all of her press conferences and media appearances, fantastic in all of her outfits, and most definitely a woman who is clearly coming to her absolute prime. And whether we see her take the next step to become a more prominent leading actress within 2026 and beyond remains to be seen overall. Now, a surprising entry next up on this list is Lidija Bacic. The 40-year-old Croatian pop singer has actually been active within the industry from way back in 2010 with her first album, and she's been pretty consistent with her musical output over the last 10 years. And to be honest, I really didn't notice her until I was scrolling through YouTube and came across a thumbnail from one of her live performances. I believe the track was named Solo. But as soon as I saw her, I simply thought, wow, what a stunning vision of beauty, tall, statuesque, with a perfectly toned figure, all hips and legs and very beautiful face. And you'll notice her further as you look onto her Instagram profile, practically a near flawless woman, and having been around for so long, I'm simply amazed that Lidija hasn't caught more of a mainstream attention. She does sing in her more native language, but the likes of Shakira and Celine Dion also started that way and went on to become prolific singers throughout mainstream culture. Now, her music I'm not as enamored to, but it does have that more catchy pop Euro music about it, and perhaps it would be more ideal for her and her band to try more English language material, just to help them cross over to a much more larger audience. And it would definitely garner more attention, especially with the way that she looks. And again, once more, you just trawl through her various music catalogue and music videos, and it's very easy to understand why. So an absolute supermodel-like woman of 2025, and definitely worthy of so much more spotlight and attention, and hopefully she can go on to better things in 2026. Now, definitely one actress who was one of the most prominent within 2025 was Olivia Cooke. The actress who really hit her stride back in the role as Alicent Hightower in the Game of Thrones prequel series House of the Dragon, especially the first season, in which she was also exceptional. And there was always a curiosity to see what Olivia would look like in a much more modern day contemporary story. And we definitely got that this year with the Amazon series The Girlfriend, which itself was very much a throwback of sorts to the glossy, softcore, adult romantic drama and thriller. Nothing really special, to be honest, and whilst it was good to see Robin Wright performing once more, no doubt about it, Olivia was the clear major attraction within this show. In the role here as Cherry, she gets into a relationship with Robin Wright's son, but it turns out to be something far more darker in her past and her nature. And it very much seems like the show went out of its way to make sure that Olivia looked absolutely hot in every single scene that she was in. Absolutely beautiful with her round eyes, slim toned figure and legs. We always saw her in mini skirts, high heels, bikinis, gym outfits, and you just simply couldn't take your eyes off her, looking absolutely super hot and sexy. And yes, she also played the character very well in that vein of a more femme fatale, giving much more of that sinister presence, very different to what we saw in terms of Alicent Hightower. Now, of course, we will see her next up in House of the Dragon Season 3, but it would be interesting to see if she could propel her career further outside of the Kingdom of Westeros into much more mainstream television and movies. But so far in 2025, without question, Olivia Cooke, definitely one of the most hottest and attractive women within the year. We will then go on to the third highest entry on this list, and that is Rachel Brosnahan. The American actress rose to prominence first in the award-winning Emmy series The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which was more of a period drama, of which she gained a lot of critical reception, before rising to major prominence this year in the role as the iconic character Lois Lane in James Gunn's Superman project. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I wasn't really favoured towards the film itself, but without question, probably the best element of the entire film was indeed Rachel's portrayal of the character. Looking far more like the iconic version of what we saw previously within the Zack Snyder movies and Amy Adams. Rachel Brosnahan had that very slim toned figure and beautiful eyes and face, and she embodied the Lois character very well. She also managed to share a very good chemistry with the Superman actor David Corenswet. Again, one of the best elements of the film were the scenes where they were involved together. And like so many actresses this year, Rachel truly shined in all of the red carpet premieres and press conferences. You look at her for her various outfits, absolutely stunning, very captivating overall in her natural looks, and of course the role as Lois Lane gave her full license to show a much more glamorous outlook in terms of her own personality. Now, despite not being as excited about the upcoming Superman sequel, I'm sure Rachel will feature prominently once more, and hopefully she'll be able to gain further roles outside of Lois Lane and become a far more substantial actress within 2026 and beyond. But without question, for me, one of the standout women within all of the year, and that was Rachel Brosnahan. So we come up then to the runner-up on this list, and that is the incredible Trish Stratus. The long-time WWE female wrestler first appeared on the platform way back in the early 2000s, very much part of the Attitude and Divas era. And despite the likes of Stacy Keibler, Tori Wilson and also Stephanie McMahon, Trish was for me always the hottest female wrestler back then, and 20 years on, she still remains the hottest female wrestler now. After coming back from a long hiatus in 2025, she featured primarily in the Royal Rumble. She became just as prolific for returning and also being inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame, and she simply looks just as hot now despite recently turning 50 years old. She still has the super toned figure, the beautiful face and the stature, and anybody doubting this only has to look at her calendar that she released for the year, and she absolutely dazzles in sheer belief, giving a prime example of a healthy woman who has maintained herself, looking just as good, maybe even more so, than many attractive women who are in their early 20s. So definitely one of the most standout women in 2025, both in terms of image, looks and profile, in Trish Stratus. So we come to the number one entry on this list, the most hottest, prolific women of 2025, and it's no surprise, especially from my perspective and many others, that it still remains Scarlett Johansson. Still one of the elite tier leading Hollywood actresses for the modern generation, she was of course propelled to megastardom within her role as Black Widow within the Marvel Cinematic Universe for so many years, and she has managed to maintain that superstar status for a long time now, and she confirmed this year by headlining the latest Jurassic World installment, Rebirth, which went on to gross over $863 million worldwide, maintaining her box office prowess. And that gave her enough clout to direct her first movie, which was called Eleanor the Great. This has all contributed with her rightly being recognised as one of the most influential actresses of the last decade. And in terms of looks, what more can we say that we haven't said already? After recently turning 40 years old, she still has the lush beauty, the lips and the great body and the curves, and is literally every bit as hot now as what she was 5 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Showing now a supreme confidence in stature and image. Again, we look at her in all of her red carpet premieres for the promotion of the Jurassic World and also her movie. She still looks absolutely amazing, really embodying that sheer class and sophistication, and unlike so many of the women on this list, Scarlett Johansson really didn't need to flaunt or overshow her sexuality. She has that naturally in spades, so at this point now it really comes across as effortless, and that's what makes so many people appeal to her. Now, from her successful year, she still has a lot of promise going forward. She's due to star in the upcoming Exorcist remake, and there have been many rumours that she's going to have a prominent role in the Batman 2 sequel directed by Matt Reeves, if and when that comes out. So overall, still, Scarlett Johansson, for so long the leading actress, has managed to maintain her position and enjoyed a wealth of success throughout the year. So those were my thoughts and feelings of who I felt were the standout women within the year of 2025. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you have any other further movies, television series, or any other topics within the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover within the channel, then also let me know within the comments, and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.